What's good, people? Welcome to my YouTube. Listen guys, if you follow me on Instagram, the question I get asked the most is what do I do for a living? I get messages about what young people can do to help them make a lot of money, and actually triggered by a conversation that I had with one of my friends today. It is the fantasy of wanting to be a millionaire versus the reality of actually being a millionaire. What you can afford and what you can't. Welcome to my YouTube. What's good, people? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael O. Listen, I've actually met people in real life who have called me Michaelo. I've heard people call me Michaelo. The name is Michael O. I'm of Ghanaian heritage. My last name is Owusu. So I shortened it and I called it Michael O. So thank you for tuning into my YouTube video today. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but for whatever reason it hadn't materialized, but I felt that this was the right time to do it. You know, one of the things that irks me the most is the fact that especially in the UK, you know, we don't get to see a lot of entrepreneurs, we don't get to see a lot of business people who have achieved and attained a certain level of success, and I want to help change that narrative. You know, I was talking to one of my friends who's a podcaster from the US, and he was saying that they've been wanting to interview UK business people and they were just not visible. And so that's one of the things that one of the reasons I wanted to do this. Plus, if you have followed me on Instagram, or if you have, if that's where you're tuning in, of course, if you're just finding out and meeting me for the first time, pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming onto my channel. But if you follow me on socials, one of the things that I get asked the most is what I do for a living and how I make my money. So this will be a great opportunity. I'm going to address it. I'm going to share some of that with you as I go along. So for the people, this is for my die-hard fans or my die-hard supporters who've been following me for the longest time, since back in the day. You'd know about 12, 13 years ago, I had a TV show called The One-to-One Show that broadcast on Sky. It's a one-to-one. Myself, Michael, and all your favorite gospel artists from around the world.
Hey guys, welcome back. I told you what Dictators was on the show today.
This life is a journey, the process of learning where God is the answer.
It was a music chat show. It was a lot of fun. I started doing that show when I was, I think, 20 years old. Yeah, I think 20 years old I started doing that show. I'll be 33 this year, so yeah, it has been a while. I did that for a while. Broadcast in the UK was great, and I wanted to syndicate it around the world, so I contacted some of the biggest distributors in the UK, and nobody would touch it. And so literally I picked up the phone, calling up broadcasters from around the world, literally all of Africa, all of the Caribbean. And by the end of 2012, fast forward a very long story, by the end of 2012, my TV show was broadcasting in 60 countries, right? So that was a big step up for me, and that birthed my TV distribution company, which I still have to this day. Now we represent a plethora, a huge catalog of independent content producers, movies, TV series from America. We acquire their content and license it to the likes of Sky, Channel 5, Mnet, ETV in Africa, all the big networks throughout the Caribbean. So that's gone on to do really well as one of the biggest distributors of black entertainment content in the world at the moment. And as time has gone on, I have ventured into other things. So if you follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of fancy cars. I'm not stunting. I actually have a luxury car hire company. I'm going to share the inspiration for that as we go along in this video, so stay tuned for that. I also have a private jet charter company. I've also delved into property development in Kent in the UK, where I've done some property development. I've also done a little bit in Africa, and I'm a crypto investor, amongst other things. Investment portfolio keeps expanding as I get older and my interests develop. Second thing I get asked a lot is, what are some of the businesses that you can get into that's going to make you a lot of money? I've got nothing. And the reason I say I've got nothing is because the best business for you to be able to make a lot of money is the one that you are interested in and the one that you are good at. I have a very large stable of very successful friends who range from construction to crypto. They have recycling companies, they have food delivery companies, Caribbean or Asian food. It just ranges. I have a friend whose business is actually recycling used oil from restaurants. Who thinks about that, right? But all of them have gone on to be very successful in their own rights. And the reason I share that is because when I got involved into television very early on, it was because I was genuinely interested in it. It's because I think I was pretty good at it, and I was willing to spend all the time that I had to learn more so that I could become better and better and better at it. That journey of starting my TV show to the point where it was syndicated globally, and when I felt like I was actually finally starting to make a decent income from it, it felt like a very long journey. Really, from the ages of 19 to about 22, 23, I was barely making any money from it. When I say barely making any money, I was probably making less than 20,000 a year. Probably even less than that. Maybe even less than 15,000 a year. It was a really interesting, really long, tough journey. But the thing that kept me going was because I genuinely loved, right? Remember what I told you before? I genuinely loved and I was genuinely interested in what I was doing. I feel like those are the three criteria that are essential for being successful in absolutely everything that you want to achieve. And along the lines, and this is something that everybody is going to get tested for. How badly do you want it? I hear a lot of people say they want to be successful. I hear a lot of people say they want to do well and they want to excel in whatever it is that you're going to do. I grew up in South London. There was a time where I had gone to a meeting in Oxford Circus and I didn't even have enough money to get the train back to South London. I had to walk from Oxford Circus and get back to South London. It was like a 3.5-hour walk, right? And I was happy. I happily did that walk. Do you know why? I knew, even at that point, that one day I will tell my story to the world and it's going to inspire people, right? You've got to have a vision for your life. You've got to have somewhere that you want to get to, somewhere that you want to go. You've got to have faith that you're actually going to get there, regardless. And in fact, the time where you need the faith the most is when the going gets tough, because that's where a lot of people quit. But are you going to be any different to the people who have quit? Or are you going to keep going on? And those are some of the tests. Those are the tests, the real tests that that everybody faces, that everybody's going to face, and you're going to have to keep going. I have a principle, and that is, I don't care if you're a baker, a tailor, or you have a rubbish collecting company. If you do whatever you're doing well enough for long enough, you will be successful. It is just the law of persistence, right? It is the law of perseverance. If you persist and you persevere long enough, you will succeed. If you clicked on this video because of the title, what has Millionaire got to do with anything? I got into a conversation with one of my friends today where we were talking about the fantasy of wanting to be a millionaire versus the reality of wanting to be a millionaire. And just like most people, I wanted to be a millionaire by the age of 21. Right? Obviously, for some people it happens. For me, it wasn't quite the case. I was well into my 20s before I was actually 26 or 27 when I first clocked that mark. But because I'm not a football player or didn't sign a big record contract or any of that, it wasn't a lump sum of money. It just kept kind of creeping on to me. I just realized one day I was a millionaire. By this time, obviously, you would have been making a certain amount of money for a while. So I was already living a millionaire lifestyle. What I meant by that is I'd already got the big house in the sticks. I was driving the fancy cars, first class, business class. I was doing lifestyle, right? As we all aspire to do with our money. And I realized very quickly that I was starting to bring in a lot of money, but I wasn't liquid a lot of the time because my outgoings had crept up to the amount of money that I was bringing in. Before you've made £1 million, for the tax man has already taken 40%. So really, you're only left with 600,000. Right? And if you live in London, for example, how much is the average house in London? The average house in London is probably about 500,000-600,000, right? So you're already depleting your funds very quickly. Like most of the young guys, I was 26, 27, driving Porsches and Bentleys and Lamborghinis, all these fancy cars. forgetting that in addition to what I've got to pay for the month, I've also got car insurance. And when you're young, they whoop your butt with that shit. So even though I had attained on paper millionaire status and was trying to live the lifestyle of a millionaire, I couldn't actually afford to live like a millionaire. Nobody taught me that. I had to make those mistakes for myself. It was a bit further down the line that I got to connect with other financially comfortable and independent guys who showed me the insight that I was able to apply to my life to be able to make improvements. So these are some of the things that I would love to be sharing with you on my channel as time goes on. And I'm going to be inviting some of my friends as well, other successful people from the UK, from Africa, to share their journeys with you, because I just don't feel like we get to see and hear enough entrepreneurs, especially black entrepreneurs in the UK who are doing amazing. We're not visible, partially because we don't want to be, but I know how beneficial it would be for the younger people who are coming up to be able to see the various opportunities that are out there for them to be able to pursue. And it's not just sports and entertainment through which you can become successful. There is but especially now with the internet, oh my goodness, there are a plethora of options that are out there if you only made aware and somebody guided you to be able to see it. And so hopefully I'm going to be able to bring some of that to you here on the channel. The other thing that I will be talking a lot about here on the channel is the laws of attraction. I am a big believer. In fact, I can almost pinpoint the time in my life where it was almost like a click happened. It was almost like a light bulb went on and my life felt like it changed overnight, right? With acquiring some of that information. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the metaphysics behind being able to get successful. Because, you know, for me, when it comes to the acquisition of money, when it comes to the attraction of money, yes, hard work and great ideas are great. Most of us have that covered, but we're still not seeing the results. And that's because I fully believe there are certain principles that you have to tap into within yourself, right? That will be essentially able to unlock some of those doors within you for you to be able to allow that abundance to reach you. And so I'm going to be sharing some of that. In fact, a lot of that is going to be on this channel. I'm hoping to upload new and fresh videos every week. Come back. Let's communicate. Sometimes, you know, when you're sitting here talking all of this stuff, you're not sure if people are enjoying it, if people are, if it's speaking to people or helping people in any way, shape or form. And so if this has been of any help to you, please leave me comments below. I want to know you. I want to get to know you. And of course, if there's other things that you want me to talk about, I'd love to hear about it. Let's connect. This is Michael O. Thank you for being on my YouTube.